Hello and welcome to The Long View with me, Jon Jon. So we are firing up for the first time Soul King from Netmarble, the big Korean publisher. The point of The Long View is we are playing games for a prolonged period of time, typically looking from kind of day 1, day 7, day 30 retention, looking to play games for that period of time and see, 1, how we get on with them, 2, how they kind of keep us in there. Obviously we'll be attempting to play over that period of time, but maybe some games will be so obscure and difficult we won't be able to do that. So first thing we see this a lot, push notification prompt. Developers shouldn't be doing this. You can only show this once playing on an iPad. This is the iOS prompt. You can do this internally with game splash screen saying do you want messaging from the game or other kind of messaging, and then bring this up if people say they want it. But if you only have to show this once. So if I say don't allow, then basically the developer has lost the chance unless I go into settings, which clearly I'm not going to do. So that's not good for the first time user experience for this game. You see this a lot in, I have to say, in games from Asian developers tend to be a bit more MMOG heavy. Again, we see this. So 226 megs. It's not nothing. I mean, I'm playing on an iPad, so I'm playing on Wi-Fi, so that's fine. But if you're expecting people to play this on a phone, it's not a good first experience. Doesn't need to be the case. I don't believe I need this additional data to actually play through the tutorial. Obviously, in Korea, have very fast download speeds. Not such an issue, but Korea is pretty much Korea and Estonia, probably the only places in the world at the moment where you might get away with this. Certainly, obviously in China, they try to limit games to under 50 megabytes, certainly under 100 megabytes, because of this download issue. So, obviously, the first time user experience, your kind of day 1 retention, to a degree, it's maybe you have very low day 1 retention because you're very popular, and obviously you expect people to churn out. But obviously, you want to make it as high as possible. If someone's downloaded your game, you want to at least get them in playing within, I would say, 30 seconds. If you look at Supercell's games, and they're not MMOGs in that sense, but none of Supercell's games take more than 20 seconds to load. You can just get people into the game quickly, and if you can't, you really need to think about your onboarding process, I think. So I say this is going fairly quickly, but even with it going fairly quickly, what we're already almost 3 minutes into our first time user experience, and we've not seen any game action, not seen any game screens. People need to be thinking about this, especially if you're paying large amounts of UA money. This kind of stuff, extracting files. I mean, data is not used during extraction. I mean, but it's nice to know, I suppose, that we're not using up data. But equally, who would have downloaded 220? If someone cares, well, they're going to be downloading 226 megs. The messaging's all wrong here. So, anyone know any good jokes? I'm going to have to start looking up jokes because I do a lot of these videos and end up waiting for stuff to download. So that would certainly lighten the atmosphere, wouldn't it? So okay, hopefully something happens now. I do think it is interesting, the kind of value of opening sequences. Really, I don't think anyone cares. The developer clearly cares, but I just can't think as any players. If you want to see it, you'll give people the option to go back and see it in the game, but don't care. Okay, so this is again very a server-heavy game. We've not done anything yet. Already it's asking us the name. Interesting. At least we've got 2 to 12 characters here. Often, lots of Asian games have problems in that they limit you some as few as 8 characters, which is clearly fine in Asian languages where the characters are different to Western alphabets. But need to think about these things if you're going global. There's obviously very different character mappings on things. So yeah, we don't care about any of this. We want to get into the game. So here we go. Typical RPG. 2D side scrolling, kind of manga-y, the manga graphics in the game, and then the slightly more realistic graphics overlaid. In a forest, there's some bad guys. we're knights. We're going to do some stuff. So we can see, I'm not touching this at all, although it's the auto button is blocked off. I'm not pressing anything. It's just the tutorial. So showing us what's going on. So I'm going to tap on that to use. It's going to use up some of my energy. So this is all. This is people who've played RPGs before, kind of thing we know about. There's a blue meter that's increasing as well. So similar thing, I assume is going to happen with our mana for magic, I guess. Yes. Oh, that's a block. Okay, that's a bit more. Okay, it seems quite attacking rather than the block. But there we go. Yes, okay. Oh, have I lost? Oh no, he's gone mode, fury mode thing. Oh, and his mates have turned up. Okay, well that's always nice in a tutorial, isn't it? Okay, so that's a bit really, it's given us one thing and now we've got loads of these guys. I mean, that is a bit random. Talk about throwing in at deep end. I suppose you kind of know what you're doing, you're not going to lose this tutorial, I suppose. So we're getting the idea this is a pretty bonkers game. Some of the characters are pretty bonkers, dropping the mic on him. Disco moves, kind of cool, I suppose. Right, so we won, as should happen in a tutorial. Okay. So it looks like we have an RPG and a squad element. We're probably going to lose all these guys, I imagine, because they're just there for the tutorial. I'm skipping through all this. I should just use this big skip button. Okay, so we're straight into what is a typical Korean hub. So, Hall of Heroes. So we've gone straight into a gacha mechanic. So we're seeing there's different levels of hero we can get. We can spend currency, resources, opening boxes. We don't guarantee what we're going to get, we just guarantee the levels which we're going to get. So this lady's going to teach us some stuff. Card element, obviously this is the way that RPGs are at the moment. This is card collection underneath the whole other gameplay. The metagame's all card based. Here's our chat. This is the next thing we're going to do. We're going to put together a team. I'm just following, so tapping all those guys there, our team. The leader effect. Okay. Especially heroes such as Soul Kings have additional effects, so it looks like we're going to can level those up through hero quests. Okay, let's go and do the mission. So we can see the block moves are can't use at the moment. They're locked to level 10, and we can't. Can we auto yet? Yeah, so this is still, I guess, a big difference between Asian developed games and Western developed RPGs. Whether you can have auto, so you auto the entire thing. Obviously, Western developers tend to be a bit against this. They want the gameplay itself to have some sort of meaning to the player, whereas Asian developers tend to be a lot more, well, you care about the metagame, a bit more grindy. I mean, there's a kind of fusion between that. I guess Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is the obvious kind of east meets west on that, and there is a balance there. It's nice to have gameplay that's meaningful, but equally people are going to be playing games for months. You don't be just doing the same simple attacks all the time. The level of strategy you have in there is difficult to judge, but get it wrong and you can really I think damage your game. So the classic example of this so far this year is Disney's Marvel Alliance 2 game, which didn't have any autoplay at all. It's quite a deep game, it's quite a good RPG, but just without any autoplay, just became dull quite quickly. Other reasons as well, obviously. So there we go, we've done that. What are we doing? We're collecting some food. That's how we level up our players. Okay, so I can feed. So it's quite nice to take me through. There's obviously a lot going on in these menus, as tends to be the case in Korean, Japanese and Chinese RPGs. which can be a bit like what's going on. You see level 10 is going to be a big thing, things are going to unlock. Okay, collect your hero food, so I get a reward for everything I do. I gain Gloria, she's a useful character, hard to know. Okay, so we've through the tutorial and we've basically left to what we do to what we do. So we can see there's lots of things that we can't unlock at the moment, which is useful. It may be even more useful, maybe, I don't know if these things weren't even shown. It's still a bit, I think the problem with a lot of these, it's hard to underestimate how confusing this can be for players who haven't come across this kind of level of RPG before. I mean, I've played quite a few of them, not to any great depth, but it just very confusing. And this is, you know, this screen is clearly says this is not a Western developed game. There's just much too much going on. There's these things flashing you see in the top left with a little tick going on telling you what to do. There's things down the bottom. Obviously a lot of this can be collapsed down. You can spin the wheel, so this is a typical gacha kind of thing. Line up through walls. I mean, it's a bit meaningless, isn't it? So there's 3 different ones that I have to stop. So I suppose I can pretend I'm going to be good at it. I'm sure it's going to give me a win here to begin with. Of course it does. And then the other interesting thing here that again happens to a lot of Asian developed games is I win something and it's sent to my inbox. I don't get it straight away. Now this could be obviously to show people this is important. The inbox is important. This is where you get stuff. But equally, it's just like why are we having another button press in here? A bit odd. Obviously, it comes from PC games where a lot of information is going to go through an inbox. Mobile, I think, less useful. But maybe that's because I've not played these games to any depth. I just kind of think with the mobile game, you just don't really want to be tapping on arrows. You want things the flow to be smooth. Again, I mean, I think there have certainly been worse games than this in terms of the user interface experience. The kind of fonts and stuff are nice. You can kind of see what's going on. Quite if you know what it all means. Not sure. So there's we can see here going to monetization, a monthly subscription package where we get. Imagine probably for daily amount of diamonds. What else? There's other things still just daily rewards. So we're going to get that. Is that going to go to the inbox? See again, that's gone to the inbox. We have to go back into the inbox. That's a bit boring, isn't it? Why is this one clicking? I've done all that. It's still going, isn't it? Something up here? No. Oh, so why is this? I'm a VIP level 1. Okay, that wasn't very clear what that was it? That one's gone now. And what's that one? My inbox again. Okay, of course my inbox. And I've got entry tickets. And I've got... And I can't collect all those, so that's again an inconsistency, isn't it? It's a bit odd. So I just kind of think... I mean, it depends how you're marketing these games. If someone who's played RPGs and knows how these things kind of work, or at least roughly how the system is supposed to work, you can kind of get through it. It's not awful. Obviously, if someone's played a Western RPG and then goes into this, or even on a Final Fantasy type RPG, there's just the free-to-play nature and the meta game that you don't really have in console games or even handheld games. It's just so different that it takes, I think, a lot of getting used to. I'm not going to really go into all this stuff now. This is the first thing we just give you like an overview. We can obviously in a week's time see where we've got obviously here we've got Edward character, we've got food enhanced promotions, we've got gear. Okay, let's just, can we just tap that? So we've got the enhanced, refined, 2 separate things. I've got enough money, got loads of money, haven't I? So I've enhanced that. I can enhance it again, can I? Why can I just not enhance it max to begin with? That's a bit odd. There's a success thing on there, so we can see. I'm not going to keep doing that. When we get to high level things, I guess there's a chance it won't work. We can refine by consuming gear. I haven't got any materials, so I can't do that. Is it equipped? The current item will be destroyed. Hey, what? That's interesting, isn't it? So I've lost that item. That's a bit odd. Normally you would get to sell that on. It's a bit interesting. Okay, but a very, very small, small kind of feature there. Okay, so there we are with Sulking from Netmarble. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to The Long View, where we are looking at the retention of mobile games free-to-play mobile games over a long period of time. How long is long? We'll find out. We'll see when we churn out of them all. That'll be the interesting thing. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Hope to see you again soon.